So after the airstrikes, ISIS vowed revenge, much of their fury actually on Saudi Arabia, which is not only the biggest oil producer in the world, but has the single biggest oil field in the world. It's called Ghawar. The global economy needs it to be safe. With us a man now who knows oil and the region, former senior banking and finance advisor to the government of Iraq, Burton Hickok, joining us now, was stationed overseas for a number of years, knows the region. Not trying to fearmonger, not trying to spread concern, but when I hear ISIS basically saying, we're going after Saudi Arabia, okay? Yeah. Saudi Arabia has got a gigantic oil field in the middle of nowhere. I wonder, how protected is that field?
All right, so look at it from two ways. First of all, from a military standpoint, the military capabilities, I don't think ISIS has the capabilities to actually reach out and touch Saudi Arabia from across the Gulf or any. They don't have the ability to do that. However, there is many sects within Saudi Arabia, and many of them are fundamentalist. And the key to the Saudi ability to rule there is their ability to play both sides, both the secular side and the more fundamentalist side. Well, those fundamentalists are going to be very sympathetic to ISIS. Now, could something from the inside happen? That's far more likely. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not suggesting that. But yeah, that would be more of a ability of ISIS to influence what might happen in Saudi Arabia.
ISIS themselves get quite a lot of their revenue from oil smuggling, and they control a number of oil fields and even refineries. Do you think that the US would go so far to try and cut off their revenue to a certain degree? Because I know they have other revenue streams. Yeah. Would they go so far as to target those particular ISIS-controlled properties, or would that be just completely out of the question?
Well, I don't think it's out of the question. In fact, they've mentioned that they're open to that idea. The difficulty is trying to stop the smuggling. When we were in Iraq, there was a great deal of smuggling going between Iraq and Iran on tanker trucks. So they've had 10 years of developing a smuggling system in that whole area. To a large extent, the Kurds were very, very involved with that, but they are not going to be supporting ISIS in any way. They're obviously the front lines fighting ISIS. So that kind of access to smuggling lanes is not going to be helpful. But yeah, there's tremendous smuggling going on, and it's very difficult to stop. We see it. We can see it on a daily basis. We can count the trucks as they go across. But then stopping it, it's like a whack-a-mole.
Well, I guess the good news is that there was data, I think out last night or this morning, that U.S. oil production came in at the highest level since 1986. Doesn't sound like you're too concerned.
You know, it's
about that region and oil, because you've seen pipelines get blown up.
Oh, yeah. In fact, those pipelines we've talked about, the northern pipelines, they're completely incapacitated right now. And Kirkuk is pumping very little oil. So it doesn't make any difference. The story in oil remains a supply story, and the demand is so weak. Europe is practically in a recession. The U.S. is not growing that fast. China's not the buyer that it used to be. So there's not the demand. Your first clue, if something really bad happens in the Middle East, is going to be the Brent WTI spread. Who's got the best intelligence in the Middle East? Nearly the best, the oil companies. They're going to know when something happens before anybody else does. So when you see that spread begin to widen, and right now it's about $5.30, something like that. Back in 2009, 2008, it was 100. It was 20.
Right.
And then again when the first ISIS, the first Syrian.
It's kind of a sad state of affairs, though, Burton. What you said, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much. Is that the oil companies have the best intelligence in the Middle East?
Well, with good reason. But I also want to mention there's extra supply coming on from Libya as well. And I think Iraq's southern exports are reaching a record. So there's a lot of supply to try and counteract these potential problems elsewhere. But thank you.
That's exactly right.
Burton, thank you very much, buddy. We'll see you soon.